Welcome to the Rise to Shine podcast with Noelle Custis, where we ignite the spark to discover your favorite self. It is time to get real, ladies. Hello. Welcome, friends, to another episode of the Rise to Shine podcast. I'm your host, Noelle Custis, and today we have a solo episode that feels so relevant this time of year. But before we get started, I wanted to talk reviews because reviews and downloads are the magic in the podcast world, and they help the show grow and reach new listeners. And the more we have, the more it pushes out the show. The algorithm, for those of you that are in this world, or for those of you that are in the social media world, you understand how this works. So to express my deepest gratitude for you taking the time to write a review, I'm giving away a coffee, tea, pastry, whatever is your choice on me to one lucky reviewer on each solo episode throughout the summer. And all you have to do is leave a review for the show on your favorite podcast platform, and you will be entered to win. It could be on the show in general, it could be on a particular episode, whatever it is that feels right for you. I just want to say thank you. Plus, you might even get a little shout out on the podcast as well. So today's lucky winner is Amanda May Smile, who writes, Noelle is a true teacher. Her sparkly personality brings a smile to my face, and I love the information that she shares. And I just have to say, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to write that. And honestly, the sparkle that I have is all because of this amazing audience. You guys are incredible, and I just hold you near and dear to my heart. So know you are so appreciated, and please go into my DMs. They're in the show notes, and let me know that you are a winner, and I will make sure to get that gift card to you right away. So thank you. Thank you again. And for those of you that have not written a podcast, or I'm sorry, have not written a review, please, I just would love to have that be my big ask of you, especially because we are now just a little over 20 episodes, you guys. And I was reading some statistics, and honestly, it is really actually a big statistic that over 50% of new podcasters quit after their first 7 shows. So I am so proud that we are still here going strong. And in my opinion, we are just beginning. We are just getting started. So it is with all of your encouragement and spreading the word that is going to get us out there and get us heard. Because if anything, where my heart lies is to help serve women, to help women feel seen, to feel heard, to feel like they are not alone in whatever it is they're going through. So that brings me to today. Today, we're going to be diving into a topic that many of us can relate to, and that is the emotional roller coaster of back to school transitions. Now, hear me out. For those of you that have already sent your kids off to school, you've been there, done that. Maybe you're not there yet. Stick with me, because I promise you, this episode is going to give you all the feels. And I just want to encourage you too to be part of that community that other mamas can go to and talk to you about this if you already have been there. So we're going to be talking about this because in the last few weeks, I have been seeing so many moms and dads on social media, my friends taking their kiddos off to school, and every post is bringing lots of emotion to me, actually. But I will say I'm always smiling. And honestly, every once in a while, there's a little tear that happens because it just takes me back. Because you see, I am still actually in the trenches with you. I have a 15-year-old son that just started his first day of school, his sophomore year this week, as a matter of fact. And my daughter started her master's program this week. So we moved her from one apartment to the next in a different city. And every year it feels different, yet it still feels the same in a way. Do you feel me on this? Okay, so here's what I mean. Going back, I remember sending my oldest to kindergarten. So my little girl, it feels like it was yesterday, honestly. And she was so small and adorable, but yet she felt like she grew up, or I should say, I felt like she grew up overnight. It was like she was so tiny, but yet she seemed so big. And she was acting so big with her little backpack that seemed even bigger than she was, and her pigtails. I literally remember everything she was wearing that day. I really remember it like it was yesterday. And what I also remember is I also remember feeling a mix of emotions. There was excitement, there was sadness, there was a bit of relief, but it was just this bittersweet moment. And when it came time to send my youngest to kindergarten, I felt like I already know what the deal is. I know how to get through this. This is easy, no problem. We got this. But then it was the same. There were the same emotions that I felt. And it was a little different because it was one of the last moments. I knew that I wasn't going to be having any more children. So I knew this would be the last time I was sending my child off to kindergarten. So that hit me hard too. And I also remember sending my oldest off to college. So I remember kindergarten and then I remember college. And let me tell you, I was a total mess. But I will say that a friend of mine shared with me, and I think I've even shared it on another episode, this particular story, because it really, really resonated with me. But not only did it resonate with me, it got me through the moment. So I remember a friend of mine that I taught with, she had two daughters that were going to college that were going to college. One had already been in college for a couple years, and then another one was going to be heading off. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I don't know how you're doing this. How do you do this?" And I remember she says, "Oh, friend, God prepares you for this." You see, it's almost like they become so independent and maybe just a little challenging beforehand in high school that we're actually ready for some space by the time they leave. And I didn't believe her at the time because my kiddos were still younger. And I was like, seriously? I can't imagine that. But it is true in a way. I remember her and I just kind of were starting to get at each other because I think it was like she was so ready to have that independence. She was mature, she was ready to go. And I knew it was coming, but there were still kind of these like moments where we were butting heads a little bit. And so I do remember kind of feeling like, okay, maybe this is a good thing that she's going to be, going on her own and exploring and doing life. But I will say that the anticipation of all of that was really hard too. It was so hard. I mean, honestly, I could go on, and I reminisce about it because, like I said, when we watch other parents going through it, it it hits us. It hits us in different ways. It brings us back to those feelings. And I really, I know that on the inside, we're super, super feeling all the feels. Like maybe we are super sad and we're kind of going through this grieving process. But on the outside, we're happy and we're rooting for them. And so, with this episode, I really want to just share some wisdom and, of course, offer up some tips and insight on how to navigate our precious babies and ourselves, because I think that we need to know how to take care of ourselves in these moments because we are taking such good care of our kiddos, but there are some things to think about during this time. So let's chat first about all of those mixed emotions we feel as parents, just taking those kiddos back to school in any grade. This can be in any grade. I was mentioning kindergarten and going to college because I feel like, and even senior year, those are kind of those milestone moments. But let's face it, there's excitement for new beginnings no matter what. There's always a little sadness at the end of the summer. And maybe there's even a bit of relief to have some time to ourselves. It's a lot to process, I know. But then there is adjusting to a new school year, new routines, changes in our schedules, and the uncertainty of what lies ahead because we really don't know. And this can add a little bit of stress in our lives. So let's just chat it up all things strategies to help your child and yourself transition smoothly. So, first of all, open communication is going to be key. Making sure you're on the same page with your spouse, your partner, and also your child. Now that my son's older, I tell him to get out the family calendar and write down all the events he knows of so we know what's ahead. It just makes it so much easier for all of us. And it can look different for everyone, but I cannot recommend a family calendar enough, honestly. Every single month, we sit down together and put that together so it goes into our individual calendars as well. And it is so funny because whenever something pops up and, one of us forgets, we're like, it was on the family calendar. And if it's not on the family calendar, watch out because, someone's always getting a little irritated on that. And then we're scrambling. So it's so much easier when we can be organized with a family calendar and then just plug it into your own calendars. That makes life so easy. And we also have it up in the kitchen so that we can see it and daily, it's kind of something that you pass by and, it just all helps. And outside of that, when I am referring to communication, I also mean open and honest communication. And that is with your child. Talk about their feelings and their fears, their expectations. Let them know you're there to support them. They need this so badly. They may not ask for it and they may even seem a little irritated that you're asking all the questions. But I'm going to tell you that in this day and age, I really feel like they secretly want this. As a matter of fact, my daughter often reflects now that she's out of the house how much she appreciated me just listening to her. Our drives in the car were so powerful to and from school, you guys. If you get to carpool your kids, take advantage of that time because they're going to open up to you like they've never opened up for you. We had the best conversations there at every age. So, communication is key. Also, preparation. Make sure you are all prepared before school starts with, like, yes, the supplies, the school clothes, whatever the needs are that you can get before school starts because stores are crazy now and everything goes so quickly. Like right when school starts, it's like everybody's there like vultures. So whatever you can get beforehand, make it easy on yourselves and even get that grocery shopping taken care of, organizing the kids' closet, maybe even your own closet to make it easier to get moving in the day, especially if you're heading off to work as well and it feels like a rushed time in your life. So, help your child prepare for the new school year by talking about their schedule and introducing them to their teacher if possible, and then also practicing those routines. This can help reduce their anxiety and make the transition so much smoother. And number three, self care is going to be key. I am going to be talking um, or I should say, I'm going to be talking to you mostly, but also for the kiddos as well. Sleep routines, you guys, that always feels the most challenging after the ease of summer. So establish a consistent routine to help your child feel more secure, and in control. That is huge. And this can include like your bedtime routines, morning routines, meal times. Honestly, again, kids crave this without even realizing it. And then there's the self care for you, mama. Okay, hear me out. After all, this podcast is all about women, and you need to make sure you are prioritizing your needs as well. It's important to remember that you're also going through a transition. Take care of yourself to make sure you have the energy and resilience to support your child. Engage in those activities that help you relax, but also help you to recharge. And this could be exercise, meditation, your quiet time in the morning, spending time on a walk, hobbies, whatever that looks like. Recharge your battery, fill your cup, and find what works best for you. Also, connect with other parents. Sharing all of these feelings and experiences, we get to have all of those laughs and those cries together. And I don't know about you, but for me, again, I'm probably, my jam is all about the community, but I do feel like it gives me this sense of the feeling that I'm not alone when I might hit a wall, or I might be struggling with something, or I might be sad and just want to cry it out with somebody. But all of that's going to be helpful for you too. So I hope that is resonating with you guys, for anybody that's taking their kiddos to school, whatever age that is. But I also want to be talking specifically to those of you mamas that are doing kindergarten for the first time. And oh, my friend, I am so sending you hugs. I'm so sending you hugs. Those of you that have been there and done that, I know you all have the feels right now too. And like I said at the beginning, be the woman that can be there for your friends that are going through it for the first time. And maybe this is going to help you too, to be able to think about how can I help these moms that might be kind of struggling through this transition. So this is a whole new set of challenges. Sending a child to kindergarten for the first time is a whole new ball game. There's that fear of separation anxiety and concerns about social adjustment, the overwhelming sense of sending your little one out into this big world. So let's talk about all of that. You want to make sure that you familiarize yourself with the school. That's going to be super important. And this is where the teacher hat comes on, as well as the mommy hat that I have. But visit your kindergarten classroom and meet the teacher if you haven't already. This can help your child feel more comfortable and familiar with the environment. And that teacher is probably going to become one of your closest people in the coming year. So you want that, I promise. As a former teacher, seriously, I loved when parents and I would build a relationship and we felt like we were in it together. It makes life so much easier for you, for the teacher, and most importantly, it makes life so much easier for your kiddo. Have each other's backs. I don't know about you, but I have loved knowing that the teacher, if I knew the teacher well enough, I just loved this feeling of knowing that my kid was being taken care of well. I mean, really. Our kids often spend more time at school than they do at home. And friends, it's hard to practice, you know, these days, it's hard to practice this whole thing when we're living it out. And this is why I have so much empathy for parents, because I feel like we're in a different time. It's different than even when my kids were small. It's different than when we were small. Schools are different, education systems different. Some kids are getting homeschooled, some kids are going to public school, private school. It all just seems bigger, I guess is the best way that I can put it. But seriously, keeping in touch with your child's teacher and sharing any like relevant information about them. I was just talking to my cousin about this, who her husband passed away last year. The kiddos are having a hard time transitioning. And I said, be honest with the teacher. There's no shame in that. If there's some hard things going on at home, share what you can so that way they understand and they have a little extra empathy. And don't be nervous to do this. Again, it's easier to work as a team. And always remember too that no child is perfect, no teacher is perfect. We are not perfect. So, if you can, be involved in that space. Get involved even in school activities where you can, just to show your support. If you're a full-time mom, that's okay. There's so many other ways that you can show support just by even sending an email saying, "Thank you so much for all you do," or writing a little note on your kiddo's homework. Whatever that looks like, we as teachers are so grateful for that because those positive relationships mean the world to us. So, one other tip that I can share with you is that you don't also want to be so overbearing that the teacher becomes resentful because that can be an issue too. There's a difference between that, like overbearing, and then also, letting your child fly a bit on their own, right? So, like, you want to let the teacher do her job and let them build their relationship. And you don't want to be so in it that it becomes an overbearing feeling. You want to make sure that you have some balance in there because it really does. Again, it's just another thing that makes all of the difference. And um, I think one other piece is don't talk bad about your teacher in front of your kids. That just can create really, really icky things. I guess I could have said that about any age kiddo. Like it doesn't matter what grade they're in, but just be careful of that. Trust me, it's really, really important. Okay, getting back to our strategies. Practice routines. Routines are going to be great. Help your child get used to the school routine, including waking up early, getting dressed, eating breakfast. We're talking about kindergartners here. Practice these routines at home to make the transition smoother because it's like building a whole new muscle for them. They're learning how to be independent and also help them build those basic skills. If they don't know how to do something yet, that's okay. Just keep working with them and ensure your kiddo has those basic skills because even going to the bathroom is going to be different for them at school because I know this is going to sound funny, but think about this. When you're out in public, I bet you are still going into the bathroom with your kiddos. You're still helping them. So now all of a sudden they have to be independent here. And they definitely feel so much better when they kind of know how to do that, right? And that can be a really big deal for them. So help them with that. Help them dressing independently, knowing how to button up their pants and zip up their zippers. We want to make sure that they know those basic skills. And again, I know it sounds funny, but truly, these are the things that we worry about. And these are the things that our kids worry about. And we want to make sure that they have the least amount of worry as possible because we want them to be focused on school, right? And this is just going to help their success and a lot less tears for both of you. Some other tips for you kinder moms: arrange play dates with other children to help your child get those social skills. I'm sure you've probably already done a ton of that. Read stories about school. That's another great one. Read books about starting school and different things that happen at school. Continue doing that throughout their younger years. And then also talk about emotions. Help your child identify and express what some of those emotions are for them, because this is going to help them cope with any of the challenges that come up. Because I promise you, there will be challenges. And last but not least, for you kinder moms, encourage self help skills. Again, making sure they know how to pack up their own backpack, putting on their shoes. They feel so proud of this when they're at school. I guarantee you it is absolutely adorable. I was a kindergarten, first grade, second grade teacher. I know, I watch it. And even if it takes time, show your child that you trust them to be responsible and to be independent, because it is a game changer when they walk into school. They feel so confident hanging up their backpack and taking all their things out. It's the ones that don't that start to get flustered, and then they get stressed, and then they may come home and cry. So whatever we can do to help them is so beneficial for all of you. So now let's fast forward. Now that we've talked about the kinder moms, let's fast forward to the mamas that are sending their kiddos off to college. Oh my goodness. My heart begins to flutter a little bit more here because not only do I remember it, but I'm already thinking about a few years down the road when my son is going to head out. And it still brings up a ton of emotionals and emotionals. I was going to say it still brings up a ton of emotions, and I get emotional. The emotional impact here is huge. So, sending a child to college, especially for the first time, because you have no idea what's ahead of you, can be really scary. It's like that bittersweet moment as you let go and watch your child embark on a new chapter. So again, it's just a different side of independence, right? And there's this fear of the unknown, just like how we felt when they were entering kindergarten. The uncertainty of what lies ahead is daunting because now at that point, you don't have as much control. And I think that's what's scary for parents is we kind of lose that a little bit. And then we're worrying about their safety, we're worrying about their academic success and their social adjustment. Are they going to be okay without us? And don't even get me started on the feeling of emptiness and loss because it is a grief. I remember walking by my daughter's room weeks before she left and thinking how it would be empty. And truth be told, I would cry like a baby. When she would leave for school, I'd kind of walk by her room and I'd think, oh my gosh, in just, a few months, she's going to be leaving and this room's going to be empty. How is that going to feel? And I had to constantly remind myself to just take it day by day because it is really natural to feel a sense of emptiness and loss as you adjust to this like empty nest syndrome feeling. And it can be especially challenging if you have been really closely involved in your child's life. And that part gets like, all the things, right? So, how do we navigate all of those emotions as they get older? Well, first of all, you're going to want to acknowledge and validate your feelings. It's important to acknowledge and validate your emotions. Don't be afraid to express how you're feeling. And if your child gets tired of hearing you talk about it, which they will, and you may not want to put it on them so much because then that gives them more of a stress. You want like that healthy boundary there. You want to make sure that you're not putting it on them so much that they start to take on your burden, but talk to other parents about it. It's okay. My friends, we would talk about it for like a year or 2 years beforehand. Connecting with other parents is such a great tool. And then also sharing your experiences with other parents who are going through similar emotions can be super comforting. There's a comfort in that. You're going to want to keep planting this seed, and that's going to be the self care. Take care of yourself by engaging in activities that, again, help you relax and recharge. I'm going to say it over and over again because we really have to learn to do that. We have to learn how to fill our cup. We talk about that a lot when we're in our own chapters of life, but this is one of those big chapters that you're going to want to take care of yourself so you have a full cup to fill others as well. And then maintain as best as you can a really positive outlook because truly this is an exciting time. So focus on the positive aspects of your child's journey. Remember that they're embarking on this new adventure that's going to help them grow and help them develop. And really, you're going to be bursting with pride. You will. You're going to, that's going to happen for you before you even realize. And then, of course, just don't expect perfection while they're away. This is why talking to other parents was such a relief to me because those that have walked before me helped me to realize that it wasn't going to be perfect. It wasn't going to be this storybook adventure necessarily. And I'm not saying that to scare you. There was so many wonderful times, but there were hard times. There were challenges getting used to roommates, getting used to school being harder, new routines, all of the things. So having other people to lean in on just gives you more insight and mentally prepares yourself for the upcoming challenges that they may face. And then when they go to school, just stay in touch regularly as you can. Encourage your child to stay in touch and make an effort to connect with them regularly. And that's what's going to help maintain that strong bond. But don't be disappointed if they aren't calling as much as you thought they would. That was a big learning lesson for me. Remember, they're finding themselves too during this season. If you can, visit them. This can provide like that nice boost for both of you. Support their independence and encourage your child to be independent and make their own decisions. Everything you've been teaching them up until now is what they are going to now apply as an adult. And then address those challenges. Let them, again, it's all about their independence and letting them know it can be difficult and maintain that healthy relationship with them. Don't create something where they're afraid to come to you about some of the challenges. Don't freak out, as my daughter would always preface things with. Don't freak out, mom. And then she would tell me what was going on. And sometimes I would have to hang up the phone and talk to my husband and be like, okay, I'm trying not to freak out. But these are just some things that I've been thinking about because I just want it to be a message of hope. I want you to know that them going off to school is a beautiful thing. And whether you decide that your child is going off to school or they're staying home with you and you're going to be homeschooling, there's always transitions involved. And I want you to be able to take care of yourself and know that you're not alone in this journey. Many parents have experienced similar emotions and challenges. You're not expected to be perfect. Focus on the positive aspects of your child's journey because they are embarking on a really exciting new adventure that's going to help them. And have faith in your child's ability to navigate this new chapter. They're the most resilient humans on the planet. I swear, kids are the most resilient, but so are you. And remember that you're a part of a community of parents who are going through similar experiences. So reach out for that support and that encouragement. And I'm going to say this too, and I don't want this to sound so heavy, but like if you're really struggling in this area and how to cope with the emotional challenges of sending your child off to college or kindergarten, whatever that looks like for you, seek someone that is a professional in helping, a counselor, a therapist. Don't be ashamed of that. It's okay. There's a lot that comes up for us and a lot that can be triggered during this time too. Because here's the thing, ultimately, the future is going to be bright, and trust in your child's ability to succeed and enjoy this exciting new chapter in their lives. They're going to get through the hard. And this is what's going to just make them better as humans. And yes, it's going to be full of joy. It's going to be full of some sadness, excitement, and fear, all of the feelings. But remember that we're all in this together. So, of course, I would love to hear your stories and your thoughts. And if this episode helped you, please leave a review. I would so appreciate that. My heart's desire, again, is to just meet you where you're at in your journey as a mom, as a woman, and support it in any way that I can. That's why this podcast is all about just different topics, different things that we can resonate with and talk about because I think it is so important. You guys, thank you so much for joining me today. And until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and know that the best is yet to come. Bye, you guys. Thanks for joining me here today. Your presence means the world to me. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider leaving a rating and review. And don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Head to the show notes and let's connect. Rise to Shine Co. is ready to support you in coaching, collaboration, life tips, or even a coffee chat. Until next time, keep shining, my friends.